Hi folks, this is Blueberry. I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about what's going on in the state and why there is a need to protest in Lansing on May 25th on the Capitol steps at high noon. Now folks, when you say protest, you think about a lot of people all jumbled up screaming and yelling. Well, I don't see this protest as being particularly like that. Even though we want to bring signs and we want to make sure our message is clear, we're going to speak with our government. I'd love for patients to get up and give their testimonials and talk about what our medication has meant for them. We've got a wonderful location for you folks to go and rest when you need to rest. It's a place called The Loft. You can medicate. You can use that as your home away from home while you're with us. Folks, the single most important thing about the May 25th rally, it will show the government that we are unified in purpose. It is so important that they see this because one of the things the lobbyists said to me is you guys can't get anything organized. Don't talk to me about protests. Don't talk to me about getting the vote out because you guys can't do anything. We have to prove them wrong. I'm going to call those guys before we go up there and tell them to look out their window because I think they're going to see a pretty good crowd. We've got folks coming from all over the state. Now, if you think somebody's going to go out there for you, you're going to be wrong. We need every single person that benefits from medical marijuana, whether you be a patient, a caregiver, a dispensary owner, a dispensary worker, no matter what you do. If you own a hydro shop, you need to be out there because they are going to take this law away from us if we fail. The most important thing we can do is talk about and share with other people about what a miracle medical marijuana has been in our lives. One thing that we keep hearing over and over again is that they want to redefine the doctor-patient relationship just for medical marijuana patients. Folks, this is a very bad thing. They want to make it very difficult for you to be able to get your medical marijuana. And one way to do that is to control what doctor you see and how that relationship is formed. One of the ideas that we have heard is that you have to have been with the same doctor, and it has to be your doctor for over a year. That would eliminate a lot of potential patients and maybe even eliminate a lot of patients that already have medical marijuana. Another thing that they're talking about doing is limiting the chronic pain category. Now, folks, almost all diseases as a side effect, or many diseases have chronic pain. If they eliminate chronic pain from one of the qualifying conditions, that would be 85% of our population. They are very interested in controlling that and being a lot more specific on who has chronic pain. Dr. Jones, Senator Jones, has decided he knows a lot more about medicine than anyone else in the world does. He doesn't understand that people like myself who have neuropathy live in basically unbearable pain most of our lives, and that medical marijuana helps that. Senator Jones, you shouldn't sit in judgment on sick people. You really need to sit in judgment on the budget and fix the state's economy instead of trying to hurt sick people. Enough is enough. Do your job. Represent the people of Michigan by getting them jobs and providing them with opportunities, not by beating up on sick people in order to distract people from the real problem the state faces. We've had some very important developments in the last few weeks and over the last few months. As we've been watching the political landscape change, the one thing that we've noticed is there's more of a push towards a highly regulated marijuana marketplace for us, which what that really means to the average patient and a caregiver is several things. Number one, there's going to be a decreased supply. Number two, the target seems to be growers. When you start talking about increased regulation, some of the things they're talking about is like putting policemen into your home. They're talking about inspections, health and safety type inspections, and then code inspections. And we all know how that can end. What happens a lot of times is they get you on a violation and they take 6 months to come out and re-inspect you. The government doesn't want you to grow in your home. They want centralized grows. And this brings us to a really terrible conflict. The federal government has basically said that large centralized grows and large dispensaries are not acceptable. They're writing governors every time this type of legislation comes up. While at the same time, Senator Jones and some of his friends are pushing for exactly these type of grows. What will happen if these regulations are implemented is the cost for the grower will go up. And folks, believe me, they don't want any growers in the state. They want to control the supply, and they want to control the distribution. If you listen to what Rick Jones is saying in his interviews, he pretty much is mirroring what I'm saying right now. Now, I had the opportunity to confront Senator Jones last weekend on a radio show. He didn't respond to any of my allegations. He didn't respond to the fact that he does need a supermajority in order to change any of our laws. He's not going to go that route. He's going to try to affect our laws with a simple majority. This approach is illegal. It's not only illegal, it's unconstitutional. But I don't think Senator Jones cares about any of that. He's a very powerful man, and he intends on altering the language and the intent of our law. Folks, May 25th will be a huge day for us. It is very important because the government is already apprehensive about that day. They know that a lot of patients are going to be coming to the Capitol, and that we're going to be letting those patients talk to the press. We're going to be letting those patients do interviews. We're going to be letting those patients speak if they want to. They have portrayed patients in an extremely negative way. When you tell people that a patient will hurt a child or a patient is a criminal, not only are you vilifying that person, but they could also be harmed by people who really believe what the government is telling them, that these patients are a danger to your children. That is a very irresponsible thing for a politician to do. Bill Schuette has never been a friend of our community. Never. Jessica Cooper has never been a friend to our community. Ever. But the last thing you expect out of a public servant is for them to stoop that low. That, when just by the act of saying those type of things, making those generalized type of statements, coming from the mouth of a influential politician, is a civil rights violation. Because what it does is it makes the innocent guilty in the eyes of the public. Our folks we're merely following the law, just as it was written and just as it was intended to be followed when the voters voted for it. For an Attorney General of the state of Michigan to do the things that he has done is unforgivable. I challenge Bill Schuette to prove that we are a danger to children. There has not been, to my knowledge, a single reported incident of a child dying, a child being hospitalized because of our medication. And yet every day in the state of Michigan, children are hospitalized and die from pharmaceutical drugs. So I am very disappointed that a politician would stoop to those levels. Mr. Schuette, we are not criminals. We are sick people. Many of us are dying. Many of us have raised our families, worked our whole lives, and through no fault of our own, find ourselves with terminal conditions. And even chronic pain, Mr. Schuette. I don't know if you realize it or not, but chronic pain doesn't always show itself in external symptoms. But those that are afflicted by it suffer greatly. You shouldn't judge sick people, Mr. Schuette. You have all the money in the world, and you yourself have used marijuana. It is a sin. It is being a hypocrite to do such a thing, especially when the folks that you're assaulting with such language use the drug for medical purposes. You should be ashamed of yourself. So, folks, it is very important that we come out and we rebut what Mr. Schuette is spreading all over the state because of their lies, their misrepresentations, mischaracterization of who we are. We're very peaceful, loving people. We don't harm anybody. All we wish is for the law to be implemented and for us to be left alone. My friends, I want to say thank you very much for all that you've done to help advance our cause. The letter writing campaigns, the phone calls, the personal meetings with your representatives, those are the things that make a huge impact on our elected officials. Your hard work and dedication has helped save our law thus far. the MMA, and the entire medical marijuana community appreciate you. So let's take that next step. Let's all get together on May 25th, and let's change the world. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to this. We'll see you on the 25th. Good night.